Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first video is from the user WoogiePuff. That's WoogiePuff, and he's driving the T69 on an encounter battle on El Haluf. T69 being the Tier 8 medium tank for the Americans, the one with that lovely auto-loader cannon. So first things first, just want to say congratulations to the winner of the previous Guess the Thumbnail competition. I thought I was being devious, but again, you guys got it within the first 30 to 40 minutes. The correct answer obviously being the AMX 13F3, and the map was Sand River. So congratulations to Bolshevik Muppet. That's Bolshevik Muppet for correctly identifying that it was indeed the AMX 13F3 on the Sand River. So congratulations to you, and don't forget, if you want to try and have a guess which tank and which map is featured in the thumbnail for this video, first person to correctly identify that in the comment section will win a shout out in the very next video. And second announcement, I just want to let you guys know that it's looking almost certain that I'm going to be live streaming with Circumflexes tomorrow. That is Wednesday. Yes, that is indeed Wednesday, just forgetting what day it was there. But yes, it looks like almost 100% certain that I'm going to be live streaming with Circumflexes tomorrow over on his Twitch TV channel. Managed to get a nice little hit on the side of that IS-3 just as he's coming across, getting into cover there. Always good to try and get some advanced damage on the enemy before they're able to take the hill. So yes, don't worry. Oh yes, that's going to be going out at 6 PM Greenwich Mean Time or 7 PM European Time. That is the plan. Last time we spoke, so fingers crossed that is all still the plan. Don't worry though, if you are not following Circumflexes on Twitch TV, I will be putting out just a short 30-second video on this channel just to let you know that the show is about to go live. Excuse me. So yes, putting out a short video just to let you guys know if and when that goes live, so you can go ahead and just head on over and have a watch if that's something that you're interested in. The links will be in the description. The links to his channel, YouTube channel and twitch.tv channel will also be in the description of this video, so you can go get a head start if you like. Oh, nice shot from that GW Panther there, taking out that KV-1S in a short order. Going to have to play this one a little bit more carefully and a little bit closer to the cliffs there if they don't want to get themselves also taken out by that GW Panther. So it looks like the enemy's got a lot more tanks in the area than the Allies do, although he's able to get a nice shot on the side of this IS-2. Not quite able to take his track out, although he does with that KV-1S, and there we go, picks up kill number 1, taking out that KV-1S. So yeah, it looks like the enemy's got a lot more armor in the area, so they're going to have to play this one carefully, as they only have that Tiger 2 on not many hit points, in this IS-3 with 2/3 of his hit points left. And actually, WoogiePuff is also down to half HP, but it looks like he's nicely been allowed the time to reload that auto-loader gun there. What really should have happened is once WoogiePuff had fired off all 4 shots, nice kill there, of his cannon, the enemy really should have just pushed up here en masse, as they had more tanks than the Allies did here, so they would have just been able to push up with impunity. That the Allied IS-3 probably would have been a bit of trouble with them having about 1,000 hit points, but like I said, there's a 110 there, an IS-3, and there was an IS-2 still alive. So to be honest, they could have all just pushed up, taken out the Tiger 2 and the T69 there before he reloaded. Oh, nice timing, just about being able to reload that cannon as the 110 pushes himself around the corner. And there we go, the 110 becomes kill number 3, and the enemy has now lost their advantage in the area. Although this Type 58 valiantly coming around and trying to take out this Tiger 2, getting some good hits on him, and that Tiger 2 hasn't got the speed or the agility to be able to deal with that. Woogie Puff still got a little bit reload time left on his cannon, but what he's doing is what you should do if you've got an auto-loader, which is just point it threateningly at the enemy and just make them think that you've got it reloaded. You can oftentimes just get them to hide and cower away. But now his gun is indeed reloaded. And that's going to be all she wrote for the Type 58. So a valiant effort there to try and push forward and take the hill. Managed to take out a Tiger 2, but got himself eliminated by Woogie Puff in his Type 69 there. So it looks like they've lost the hill now. Not sure what happened to that IS-3 and whether the enemy IS-3 is still alive. So going to do the smart thing now, just drop back to the secondary defensive line. At least this way the tank destroyers are going to have a position to fire down on any advancing enemies. Obviously if it's on a standard battle, then once the enemy's taken the hill, they're almost certainly going to have to come down this path here. So on a standard battle, if you lose the hill, it's best just to drop back to this position, and then you can fire on anybody who wants to come down this road here. And normally you've got some tank destroyers backing you up in the rear there. But obviously on an encounter battle, not really necessary to do that. Once you've taken the hill there, then you've got a advanced fire position that the enemy would have had on the base, and you can obviously start a base capture and just hold the hill. You can really just wait there, or all just sweep down into the cap zone. So it looks like the enemy has decided just to hold the hill here. Just having a quick look, but it looks like there's actually nobody here at all. So maybe they've just decided to abandon the hill altogether. And, oh, no, there we go. IS-3 lurking. Oh, unlucky there, getting a bounce on the rear armour of that IS-3. As you can see, it is quite a formidable beast. But the next two shots are able to finish him off. Caught napping. Unfortunately, just getting a ricochet on the side armour of that IS-3 there. So just going to hide off and take some cover while that cannon reloads. You can see on the mini-map there, he's got a Jagdpanther 2 coming up to offer some support. So I'm just going to wait for this gun to reload, have a quick peek out from the rocks to see if there's anybody coming from the northern flank. But it looks like the enemy don't have any tanks there. To be honest, not really sure where the enemy tanks are. So once they've taken this hill, they really should have moved up here and taken it rather than be camping in the base. As you can see, somebody raging in the chat there. So it looks like his team are probably just camping. IS-3 had a shot at the advancing Jagdpanther there. Woogie Puff going to use that opportunity to take him out and then reload his cannon. Just going to sit here while the Jagdpanther 2 turns up, so we're just going to speed this up a little bit until we get back into the action. Having a quick look to the north there, but not really seeing anybody. Like I said, after the enemy had taken this hill nicely, the enemy really should have pushed up here and taken this from the Allies, but as it is, the Allies have been able to get the hill back, so really they've just had a bit of a battle reset. Spots a 3601, but his gun's not quite accurate to be able to get any damage on him. A little bit unfortunate there, but this Jagdpanther 2's got a nice advanced position, and he's probably going to be able to do some serious damage. Woogie Puff just going to lay down some fire and try and offer some support. Gets a good hit on that Churchill Mark 7 there. Another good hit on that Churchill Mark 7. Last shot not quite penetrating the VK3601 there, and he's able to reverse just as that GW Panther shot flies in there. So nice piece of Sixth Sense by Woogie Puff. And that Jagdpanther 2's on a bit of a rampage there, taking out the Churchill Mark 7 and the 3601 nice and quickly. And the two of them just going to advance along this northern flank now, rather than heading back to the base and camping, doing the smart thing of taking the enemy's hill and then going and sitting on it, which is exactly what you want to do. It's no good taking territory from the enemy and then not really using it or going and occupying it. So it looks like they've got a T-3485 coming in from that southern flank. And these two guys, Woogie Puff and the Jagdpanther, coming in from the northern flank, able to take out that 3001P pretty damn quickly. So now it's just a case of finding this Tiger P and the GW Panther. Tiger P over in the south there. Looks like he's only got a small amount of hit points left. So Woogiepuff just going to hide behind this rock here. Going to hope that the Jagdpanther 2 can draw his attention. And that's going to allow Woogiepuff to get some free damage through his side armor. But no, it looks like he's focused his attention on Woogiepuff instead. So at least this way, with him focusing entirely on Woogiepuff, hopefully that Jagdpanther 2 should be able to get, there we go, some damage on the front. And able to get one more shot through his side, and he becomes kill number 7. So 7 kills is awesome so far, picking up his Top Gun medal. Obviously only needs 6 kills for that. And that leaves just this GW Panther hiding somewhere in the north there, as he did take out that 3485. GW Panthers had a pretty good game here, so it's a little bit of a shame that his team just decided to have one big camp off, as the GW Panther was able to pick himself up 3 kills. So it's a little bit of a shame that he's just about to get swarmed and taken out here. Woogiepuff just coming over the top, deciding to come around from the south instead. As you see, the Panthers focused on that Jagdpanther 2. So he should be able to just get some free damage through his side. And there we go. The GW Panther becomes kill number 8. And that was an absolutely awesome replay there from Woogiepuff. So thank you very much for sending that one in. And as always, the score screens are coming right up. And our next replay is from the user Ladius. That's Ladius, and he's driving the ARL 44 on an encounter battle on Lakeville. The ARL 44 being the tier 6 heavy tank for the French. And I think I've featured one replay from the ARL 44 back in the past, and you may remember that it is probably the only French tank that isn't made of absolute paper. So we're going to see if Ladius decides to use it like it was intended, which is pretty much like a blunt force battering ram. When it's top tier, tier 6, this thing is pretty damn difficult to damage, and is fairly maneuverable for a heavy tank, and has a pretty decent cannon on it. Not an auto-loader. French heavies don't get that until later on in the line. But like I said, the armor of this thing makes up for the fact that it doesn't have an auto-loader cannon. So, making a beeline for the cap zone here. Going to be just finding any enemy tanks that have gotten here ahead of schedule. As you can see, Ladius getting here just after their scout tanks have made their rounds. Nobody else is in the area. Not going for the cap himself, just going to be taking out whoever he can. Spots a T-28. Has his shot. Ooh, almost finishes off that T-28 with a single shot. And it looks like that T1, actually the T1 in the background there decided to shoot the T-28 in the rear and actually took out his allied tank there. So a little bit unfortunate for him, getting a team kill. And he's not quite able to do any damage to Ladius's ARL 44 there. All of his shots just bouncing on that front armor. Ladius just going to advance on him now, close him down, and there we go, becomes kill number 1. He's going to be advancing along the road here. You can see a 3601 just fighting with this Jagdpanzer, who is clearly out of position. A little bit unfortunate on his part. Obviously with the KV-1 in the south there, the T-1 above him, he thought he was probably in a good advanced firing position to be able to lay some damage down on the enemy, but as it was, his allies decided to just roll over and capitulate, and then he got himself taken out because he was way out of position. His KV-1 just stubbornly refusing to pay attention to the largest threat, which is this ARL, and he's going to pay the price for that. Fatal mistake. So the Cromwell here just dueling with that 3601, so Lady is just going to come around the corner, pop a shell into him, and that is going to be the end of his game. So that becomes kill number 4. 4 kills in quick succession here. The Allies doing a good job of just overwhelming the cap zone. As you can see on the mini-map, it looks like the enemy for some reason has decided to focus their attention on that left-hand swamp flank there. Not really sure why, as there is no objective on that side of the map. As you can see, it takes a good age to drive through that swampy ground there and get all the way up to the enemy's spawn zone. Oh, spots out one of the enemy's artillery here, the M44, has his shot and is able to take him out for kill number 5. But yes, on an encounter battle on Lakeville, I really have no idea why people decide to rush down that left-hand flank there. We've seen it a couple of times actually, and even in games myself I've seen that happen. And as you can see, just with a concerted effort, the Allies were able to push through the village, take that out, take out any enemy tanks that were in the area, and then get a good presence around that cap zone. All the while the enemy is just sat there in the Allies' spawn zone. Nothing really they can do about that. Gonna see if he can get his Top Gun medal here. This looks like the 3601's actually decided to back off and just possibly allow him to have this one, so we're going to say that that's indeed what he decided to do. Allows Ladius to get his Top Gun medal there. So 6 quick kills in the ARL-44 on an encounter battle on Lakeville. As you can see, the ill-fated push up that left-hand flank was doomed anyway, taking way too long to get up there, and the Allies just able to fend them off and hold them in position, and there we go, able to wipe them all out, and that is the victory. So absolutely awesome replay there from Ladies, picking up a good solid 6 kills in the ARL-44, using it as a fantastic blunt force battering ram to just kind of bully the enemy away from their positions. So brilliant replay from you, thank you very much for sending that one in. Score screens coming right up. And our next replay is from the user Werewolf20. That's Werewolf20, and he's driving the Indian Panzer on a standard battle on the highway. The Indian Panzer being the tier 8 medium tank for the Germans. This tank gets a lot of flack just because of its relatively weak gun for its tier. The other problem it tends to suffer from, although some people won't say that it's a problem, is that it's slightly too fast. So once you get into your position and ready to engage the enemy, normally your allies are still some way behind, leaving you normally out to dry. So you need to get used to the speed and maneuverability of this thing and the relative weakness of its gun. So to the replay at hand, you can see the enemy already committing a couple of light tanks to this northern flank here, the MT-25 and that ELC AMX. Not really going to be much of a match for this Indian Panzer and the T-34-1 there, although it looks like the T-34-1 is playing a little bit cautiously there, hiding down in those bushes for some reason. Oh, nice little shot on that AMX there, just as he disappears behind the ridgeline. What those medium tanks really want to do now is, because this Indian Panzer's here, and that T-34-1 is coming up to support, which will almost certainly have been spotted out by these guys, is they just want to relocate themselves, as there's not really going to be much that they can... Ooh, very, very nice leading shot on that MT-25 there. Sorry, just had to break my train of thought for a little GG there for Werewolf20. But yeah, these light tanks, looks like they're getting the hint here. There's not really much they can achieve on this flank against these two medium tanks, so really they want to be falling back and finding a different flank to make a difference on. Looks like they are indeed pushing through that centre there. Artillery landing, Werewolf 20 just letting the T-34-1 know that he shouldn't go just yet. As you see, the T-25 is lying in wait, able to get a good hit on that guy. So just going to be hanging back here and playing peekaboo with any of the enemy tanks that come over the top there. Looks like there's probably going to be a couple of tank destroyers hiding on that ridge, which is the way that they normally play it. Light tanks just having a little zoom around in the centre of the map there. That would have been a fantastic shot, but it looks like somebody else just able to pick that one up.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Well, 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 now I would skip back and watch that one again, because that was a blind shot into the fog of war there and able to take out that MT-25, picking up his first kill in style. So good job to Werewolf 20 there. I'm going to try and punish this Panther as he comes into position. Luckily for him, he just about had the speed to be able to get behind that ridge before either of them were able to really get a good lock on. Going to drop back here and use the ridge as cover himself. Maybe try and get some hits on this ISU 152, as he's got all of the ridge covering off his hull there, where that ISU 152 was kind of just sitting high on that hill there, providing a big silhouette. A little bit unfortunate that he just hit the ridge there. This Panther does decide to push around here. He's going to have two guns to contend with. A little bit unfortunate. As you can see, the poor penetration of that gun on the Indian Panzer coming into play there, as he gets two ricocheting hits on that Churchill Mark 7. Hopefully third time lucky. Nope, that one just missed, so probably going to change targets now, as he's had two bounces and one miss on that Churchill Mark 7. Is able to finally get some damage through. I think that was the artillery landing all around there, luckily not really doing any damage to the Panzer. He's desperate to get that Churchill Mark 7 off the map there, not surprisingly, as he's, like I said, he's offering himself up as a pretty large target, sat silhouetted on that hill there. One thing this gun does have going for it is its fairly quick reload speed for a tier 8. It's a lot like the British guns, although it doesn't have the penetration to back itself up some of the time. Although it does have a okay amount of damage. And finally able to shift that Churchill Mark 7 and picking up kill number 2. So there's just that Panzer left on the ridge there, able to take him out. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a T-25, yes, T-25 on this ridge somewhere, but it looks like he relocated and has now been taken out. So not really sure. Yeah, he's definitely gone. Just had a look on the right-hand side there, and you can clearly see T-25 AT dead. So managed to win the flank out here, himself and this T-34-1 by playing smart and playing cautiously, letting the enemy come to them in a trickle and getting themselves all eliminated. So able to pick up a good 3 kills and 1 for the T-34-1, and now they're going to move in on the enemy base here. Looks like there's no straggling defences here in the little town area, so it looks like it's probably going to be a free run onto the artillery here. It's going to try and find out the Hummel and the FV3 or 4. He's able to find out the Hummel, and for some reason he's got a T-44 in tow. Not really sure what the T-44 is doing. Perhaps he dropped back in order to maybe try and give some defense to the Hummel, where all he really did was make him a little bit easier to spot and made him a little bit of a larger target. Just going to play peekaboo with this T-44 here, who has already taken out that T-34-1 who lost all the hit points earlier. Not sure who he's looking at right now. I'm thinking he's probably AFK or being played by a bot there, because he's acting a little bit strangely there, hanging out with that Hummel, pointing his gun in the wrong direction and then not really returning fire on the Indian Panzer of Werewolf 20 there. But he becomes Werewolf's 5th kill And the KV-2 comes hoving into view here, coming around that corner. Luckily for him, he doesn't have that massive 152mm gun, just has the 107, although the 107 does have fantastic penetration and a really good reload speed. So Werewolf's just going to have to play this one pretty carefully, able to take out his tracks with that KV-2 using his repair kit. Trying to get a shot through the barn there, not quite able to get that one over the top of the doors. Second shot does go through the turret of that KV-2, and the KV-2 destroys the rest of the barn, and this should be all she wrote, and he becomes kill number 6 and Werewolf 20's Top Gun medal. So just one more piece of artillery to find, this FV-304. I think he's going to be lurking around in these trees here, although some of the allies are pinging around K5 and K6, saying that that is almost certainly where he's going to be hiding. So just going to be heading down towards the river, maybe going to try and find him out. There he is, hiding in the river underneath the bridge by the looks of it. So that Panther going to try and get some early damage on him. But the Panther becomes the victim of that FV, and Werewolf 20 manages to swoop in and pick up kill number 7. So absolutely amazing replay there from Werewolf 20 in the Indian Panzer, showing off his sniping skills with that early blind kill, and then pretty much single-handedly taking down the artillery and base defense. So thank you very much for sending that replay in. As always, the score screens are coming right up. And our final replay of the day is from the user Sioko. Probably pronounced that horrendously wrong, but anyway, it's Sioko, and he's driving the T-32 on an encounter battle on Ensk. T-32 being the Tier 8 heavy tank for the Americans. Not a tank you see very often, probably because it is, in my opinion, wholly unremarkable. It doesn't benefit from the advantages that the T-29 has, or the next one in the tier. May just be a personal thing. I probably haven't just haven't had enough battles in this thing as of yet, but in my opinion it is entirely unremarkable. So to the battle at hand, the Allies look like they are splitting their, well, I was going to say splitting their forces pretty well, but they're not. They're committing far too many on that right hand flank and not enough on this left hand flank and towards the objective there. As you can see, 2 T-29s going down the train yard there. That can be a good tactic. Send a couple of heavy tanks there, but as you can see, there's 2 ISs, a Tiger, and some other tank destroyer camping out there. Not really sure what they're going to achieve, considering the enemy is pushing up the train lines and through that train yard, meaning that there's going to be nobody that they can shoot at anyway, and they've finally gotten the hint and started to move off. So the enemy's starting a fairly early base capture, but Sioko able to come around the corner and get a good hit on that Kneven there. Going to see if this IS decides to poke himself out, although an Su-152 comes in view in the south there, luckily only getting some damage onto his tracks. Unfortunately, he's not really able to get any damage in return either. So going to see if he can have a little bit more luck with his second shot. Indeed he can, but you've got to assume that the Su-152 has his number as well. He's going to maneuver himself a little bit and return fire on this Su-152, deciding at this point that discretion is the better part of valor and just going to drop back behind the rubble here and maybe attempt to get a little bit of side scraping going, although it looks like he's got himself in slightly the wrong angle. And as you can see, that Su-152 still able to do damage to him, even though he's in what would be a side scraping type position. That one luckily does get absorbed by the tracks there, so that looks like that with him pulled this far forward, indeed he is in a good side scraping position. and he's able to finish off that Su-152 without taking any damage in return. IS caught a little bit too far forward and takes some damage through his sides. Probably going to drop back now. So it looks like the Allies have gotten a good foothold on the left-hand side here and established themselves well. As you can see, it looks like the enemy has indeed committed the majority of their forces to the right-hand flank as well. Everybody being bloodthirsty, going for the kills rather than going for the objective. So the Allies just going to say balls to that, and they're going to put themselves in the cap zone. Maybe. Actually, it looks like they are not saying balls to that. There we go. Finally getting themselves in the cap zone and going to be going for a base capture here. So just going to position themselves in defensive positions. They've got that Tiger flanking around to the left and that Panther going and trying to take out that light tank in the south there. And the Allies that are going for this base capture are indeed just setting themselves up in defensive positions, using the corpses of the enemy there as cover. Looks like that Tiger has found the advancing enemy lines. That IS making a beeline for the cap zone. If they can just hold on for another 25 seconds, they're going to have this one sewn up, but it looks like that IS is about to come from the rear, so you're going to have to be careful here. Gets a good hit on that IS there, but unfortunately the IS just missing. He's going to have to spin himself around again, or he's going to get hit in the rear. T-29 getting a little bit of damage on him, and that is the cap entirely reset now. So it looks like they're just going to have to fight for their lives rather than going for the base capture here. The two T-29s that headed up through that train yard earlier, looks like they were able to take out everybody in their way. Although not really standing up against the T-34 of Syoko here, as that one becomes kill number 2. So that T-28 prototype just blocking off his rear there. It looks like there is a Tiger flanking around to the rear, so just going to leave the T-28 to deal with the 2 heavy tanks from the front there. So it looks like they've switched their attention to the Allied Tiger. It looks like the enemy's actually decided to split themselves up now and just take all different routes in rather than staying all together. So Syoko going to come around here and see if he can finish off this Tiger. Not quite able to hit that T-29, so a little bit unfortunate. So he's just going to use this Tiger as a shield. Going to come around, try and take out his tracks. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite have the speed or the weight to be able to eliminate his tracks. That Tiger just bouncing there. Not quite sure why he's hanging around in this position. Doing the smart thing of just switching his attention to this T-29 as he knows that Tiger can't really hurt him, as he is successfully turret hugging. To be honest, not really sure why that Tiger just decided to hang around and get himself killed there. He really should have just driven forward or reversed himself away, as there was no way in 100 years he was going to be able to put a round through the turret and the gun mantlet of this T-32. So massive mistake on the part of that Tiger there, just sitting and trying to duel with that T-32. Black Prince in the cap zone here. Black Prince notoriously difficult to damage. Only got 13 hit points now, but Syoko just unfortunately ricocheting on the massive front armor of that Black Prince. But like I said, he's only got 13 hit points. But now he's only 1 shot away from death himself. Looks like that Ferdinand is running trees over in the distance there. Track gets eliminated, and Syoko's able to nicely take out that Ferdinand from across the way there. Not quite sure why that Black Prince didn't pop himself out and have a shot there, because to be honest, yeah, I was just a bit lost for words there when he fired at the Ferdinand. I have no idea why the Black Prince didn't just pop himself out and finish off the T-32, as that would have been an easy kill. Just fire at the lower plate of that T-32. Gun of the Black Prince would have sailed straight through his armor, done 183 damage, killed him, and he would have been the hero. As it was, decided just to play scared, hide around the corner, and then get himself killed and present himself as the last kill needed for Syoko's Top Gun medal. So brilliant replay there from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, then leave me a like or favourite, stick a comment in the comment section below, let me know exactly what you thought of the various replays. Don't forget, if you want to have a go at guessing which tank and which map are featured in the thumbnail, first person to correctly identify both will receive a shout out in the very next video, and keep your eyes open for the live stream that I should hopefully be doing with Circumflexes on Wednesday evening. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. This has been World of Tanks, I've been Maxwell, and I will catch you guys next time.